Hello everyone, Kent Bressler here. I want to welcome you to Kent's Kidney Stories. During our time together over these podcasts, I'd like to discuss kidney disease. I'd like to tell you about my journey as a transplant patient, but also talk about dialysis, kidney donation, and just about anything else that might be of interest. Kent's Kidney Stories, a podcast endorsed and sponsored by KidneySolutions.org. Hello, Kent Bressler here, and we're going to do a little podcasting. You know the drill. We always start with prayer, so you want to just position yourself for the prayer. Lord God, may we be grateful for our lot and compassionate toward all those who are suffering every kind of distress at this difficult time. May we hold back nothing and hasten to be the ministers of prayer and mercy, like the disciples of Him who went out good times and in need. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. All right. As per usual, I found somebody out on the street who knows a whole lot about PKD, along with my other friends who have PKD, and I can name James Myers, for instance, and then people who've donated to families like Suzanne Ruff. So here's the deal. You know how they say that on the State Farm commercial. Jake from State Farm says, "Okay, here's the deal. Person I have on today as my guest is Patti Ruffin. Now, Patti's from San Antonio, Texas, and the driving force behind a huge PKD walk that's held every year. And you know, there's been a lot of changing since COVID showed up. And so I wanted her on because I want to plug this thing. Not that it needs it, but we sure like to keep plugging it because of how important it is. And I wanted her to talk today first about a little bit about herself, but then I want her to grind out why she's doing what she's doing and why the PKD Association is so fortunate to have her. All right, enough said. Let's get down to brass tacks here. Welcome, Patti. How are you?
I'm great, Kent. Thank you for this opportunity to share information about polycystic kidney disease, also known as PKD. So I wanted to kind of explain what PKD is. So polycystic kidney disease is actually a multi-organ system disease, but the one that's really kind of the trouble one is the kidney. What happens are there's cysts in the kidney, little sacs, and think of a normal kidney, Kent, you would know, would be the size of a fist. Well, because these cysts grow and grow and grow and rearrange everything, I call it junk in the trunk, rearranges everything, they get the size of footballs. So think of two of those in your belly. It also impacts the liver, pancreas, and a very common disorder of polycystic kidney disease are aneurysms in the brains. Again, outpouchings. And I have lost 5 family members to polycystic kidney disease before the age of 55, including a grandmother, 2 uncles, one who died at 35, the other was on dialysis at 39. My father had an aneurysm at age 46 and lived. Sadly, he had expressive aphasia, which meant he knew what you were saying, but he couldn't say the words. He was a brilliant executive with Western Union working on computer programming with NASA, who because of his disability at the age of 46 had to take a disability. And then a sister that passed away 1 week after my transplant. Out of 6 siblings, now imagine my father being 46 years young and a child in kindergarten, and I was 18 at the time, trying to raise a family. So our family was very close-knit, and 4 out of 6 of us have polycystic kidney disease. My sister, Karen, was on peritoneal dialysis for 6 years before she succumbed in 2005 to PKD. I was blessed to have, after 2 years of dialysis, by working at UT Health San Antonio, I was able to get a transplant from a coworker I just met. You talk about God winks, as Suzanne Ruff always says, a good friend of mine, God wink it is. And I actually, ironically, had changed jobs. I was on dialysis for 2 years. And interestingly enough, I didn't have any donors, deceased donors nor living donors come forward. And I changed jobs because of an opportunity to, it was a promotion, but also was a unique position for me to do. And so during these 4 little cubicles, a coworker said, who was a coder, said, what do I have to do to give you a kidney? And of course, you blow her off. You think, here I've been on dialysis 2 years, I'm working full time. And the next day I show her that I have the same blood type. And then the transplant clinic, again, coincidentally or God wink wise, was literally in our back door. So she went over there to meet with the coordinator, went through an extensive testing, and our tissue typing zero match, but it was a negative cross match. I was healthy. I actually even swam when I was on dialysis. And because of, she had to lose 55 pounds and quit smoking. So our transplant date was set for 12/15/05. I had both large polycystic kidneys removed at that time and the left lobe of my liver because it was very cystic and wrapping around my belly. So I had a threefer, the transplant, the kidney removal, and the liver resection. 48 hours after that, I was on just Tylenol. I was doing very well. So I was able to go back to work, 6 to 8 weeks after that. And then in 2009, at the age I was approaching 54, I had the opportunity to retire. I was part of the polycystic kidney disease walk when Maria Karstensen, one of our volunteers, and her family got it started in 2004, but I was walking while I was on dialysis with all of our other camaraderies. We started out small. We had 100 people. And because of the great love of San Antonio community, since 2009, my 2 big goals, now just a refresher, the Polycystic Kidney Disease Foundation we're all volunteers, gives us the tools to succeed. So we have yearly training sessions, if you will, how to go out and not only reach sponsors, but get your volunteers and reach your community. My 2 goals in 2009, when I was able to retire with full benefits from UT, was to make a difference, particularly in the media area, as well as the sponsorship. Well, here we are now on our 17th year walk, and we have the same sponsors, and the community comes together. And as you know, Kent, we met because I thought it was very important at our walks to have the Ultimate Gift of Life, Transplant Organ Sharing Alliance, Texas Kidney Foundation, all these advocates. And it wasn't just about us. It was about all people living with kidney disease and or the need for organ donation. And so our walk has encompassed all of those advocates, is what I call them, to help us raise awareness. And as you have seen, we've been very fortunate to have all of our medical community sponsors at the walk: UT Health San Antonio, University Hospital Transplant Center, Methodist Specialty and Transplant Center, Renal Associates, San Antonio Kidney Disease Center. And they have seen, not only are they supporting and giving this love back, but they are also able to basically see their patients in a fun family setting. Because the KINS 5 continued support of us, last year we had 13 new teams. And the thing that was the most exciting to me, first, autosomal dominant PKD is what I have. And that means the parent has PKD and each child has a 50-50 chance of getting it. Autosomal recessive PKD is that the 2 parents are carriers, do not get the disease, but each child has a 25% chance of getting it. With the recessive PKD, called ARPKD, if the child lives to be 10, there's a strong chance that they need to be on dialysis or transplant. Because of KINS 5 sponsorship of us, 2 teams came out that had children, a little boy and a little girl, about 4 or 5, with the disease. And it was beautiful to see these 2 families come together to support each other, but also get the support from all of us within the PKD community.
That in itself speaks volumes to what kind of person you are and what kind of organization the PKD Foundation is. You know, PKD is considered to be a rare disease, much like my disease process, FSGS. But what you've done in the community, you know, it's got to give people hope. When I keep talking about this, hope is what we have to look forward to in kidney disease. A lot of people don't believe that. It's not the only thing, but it sure is the best thing we got going.
Kent, you're correct. And actually, that's the foundation, is hope for a better future for all living with PKD. And you mentioned that it is rare, but you know, that's just, people are now coming out of the closet. Really, it's kind of like, you know, oh yeah, I have PKD, because they were concerned about insurance. They were concerned about what people thought about them. And again, PKD doesn't really have any symptoms, outward symptoms to show. Like, there's no hair loss like cancer. We look like normal people, and that's debatable. But inside, like I said, this junk in the trunk, because these kidneys get so big, my rib cage basically opened up. And the pain with PKD is something that a lot of people will talk about. But when you mention it being rare, Mark and I I lured my husband into being the chapter. I'm the volunteer walk coordinator, and he's the chapter coordinator to do other fundraising and educational and support groups. We've done health fairs. Every health fair that we've gone to, or if we're raising awareness that Duck Donut gives back to us, we've always reached at least one person that either has PKD, has it in their family, or knows somebody with PKD. So it's not rare. Recessive PKD is, but AD PKD is not.
Yeah, the rarity is in the funding section. You want to talk funding, you know, how you get funding, and for research, they do classify it, thankfully so, as a rare. And that's, you know, there are lots of people that are
correct. Yeah. And so segueing into the walk, the PKD Walk is the signature fundraising for the polycystic kidney disease. Of course, they get philanthropic support, or people doing do-it-yourself fundraisers, and et cetera, et cetera. And also, I want to do a little plug for Kendra Scott Gives Back. My husband arranged at the quarry, Kendra Scott. We're going to be doing a Kendra Scott Gives Back to PKD, where it's going to be basically anybody that buys anything during that time with the promo, we get 20% to PKD research, which is like a win-win. You get your bling, we get the money. So, but it is the virtual walk is going to be held this year, because they were trying to think of a day that was going to be a day. It's 10 days, one goal is the idea. And the dates are October 9th through the 18th. And the foundation's doing a lot of awareness through social media, through their own email distributions, et cetera. And we're all coming together on those 10 days. Usually our walk would have been September 12th, and somebody's would have been November, yada, yada, yada. But this time, everybody's coming together. And if people say, well, how do you do a virtual walk? Here's how San Antonio Walk for PKD is going to happen this year. Our teams are all signing up, and I will be sending you the link. It's walkforpkd.org/San Antonio to our direct walk page. And our walk page has things that we're doing. Like Bird Bakery just did a promo for PKD awareness cupcakes over the last week. Anybody that went in there, we got $1 for the PKD awareness cupcake. So that's on there. Starting this Sunday, we're going to be doing an incentive week for the person that raises the most money during that week. We'll get a prize, and you know, that's kind of the concept. The different levels are there. We're going to be doing two of those, and this is shared on Facebook. We're also going to, I personally am going to be able to step out with my own team for the first time in a long time, since I'm not running the walk. And in my neighborhood, with the homeowners' approval, we're going to be walking socially distant in our PKD shirts, purple teal shirts, and we're going to have some snacks there, and we're going to have the kids dress up their wagons in purple and teal and their bikes, etc. And we're all going to come together to raise PKD awareness that day. And we will move forward with that. And then my family, I'm going to have them show up with us walking in Virginia, my friends in Dallas, and everybody send me their pictures. And then I'll do a big collage of our team to share on Facebook. We're also through Facebook. It's the PKD Foundation San Antonio chapter. We would like to encourage people to go to that and see the different events that we have going on. Like the first day, October 9th, we're going to actually, through live Facebook, we are going to award the top fundraiser prizes from last year. We do a Volunteer of the Year award. We have a dedicated volunteer PKD group, as you well know, if you've seen. And we're going to recognize through a SurveyMonkey, we're doing a drawing for, a recognition for a top fundraiser. They'll get acknowledged. And then during the walk, we'll be promoting different things. Like, as you well know, we always do a memory board of the walk of people, our forefathers and sisters that lost their battles way too young to PKD. We'll be promoting that, as well as a news story of Irma Xaviera, who lost her battle to PKD this past year, and we're going to share her story. But on the other side, we now have that was the doom and gloom side, but now we're on the angel and hero side, and you're used to this angel hero. We have a recognition board of the whether it be a deceased donor or a live donor. We have stories of these individuals that have given us the second chance of life. We'll be promoting that with a news story of a woman who actually was a friend of my donor that wanted to give a kidney to somebody. She found somebody to give it to, and it happened to be an individual with PKD. So that board will be going up. So it's kind of ironic that my donor and her friend both donated kidneys to people with PKD. So we'll be sharing that. We're going to encourage people to get their dogs walking with them and showing their spirit, and we'll have a prize for that. We also are going to be doing our thank you banner, which you've seen at the pavilion in the past, which lists not only the sponsors, but the person that maybe gave $5 donation for whatever. Everyone will be reflected on that. This is again through social media. And then the last day, for any individual that raises $100 for PKD awareness and research, 100%, by the way, of everything we raise, and our overhead will be very small this year, will go toward research. But we have found drawings didn't work at our walk we get 400 to 500 people there. This year that won't happen, but we still want to keep that integrity of recognizing individuals that raise $100 or more have a chance to win. Maybe we have a Mia Hamm signed jersey and a soccer ball, and we have a couple days at the Wyndham Hotel. So any individual that's raised $100 or more, we're going to do a live Facebook drawing with a whole bunch of administrative background to make that happen on the last day of the walk. So we got a lot of fun things going.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, people are going to have to listen to this 2 or 3 times just to pick up on all of it. But there is a website, you said, and give that where you can get the information. What is that?
Sure, I will get that all to you. And basically, there's several ways that people can find out. The foundation has a big walkforpkd.org page, which is a great resource for connecting with our walk and all the other 50 plus walks. But it also gives the individual information about how to fundraise, how to do social media, et cetera. So that's the main foundation website, is walkforpkd.org. Now, if you wanted to get involved locally, it's walkforpkd.org / San Antonio. And that gives you, and it has all the information. It shows all of our generous sponsorships at the $300 and more, up to Kins 5 is listed as our presenting sponsor. That's a great resource to get information. They're keeping it current. Once you register, you will get all the information, not only from the San Antonio chapter, but from the foundation itself.
Okay.
So we encourage you to register. And then the other places that it will be on Instagram. And again, thankfully, I have a volunteer that's helping me with social media, because it gets overwhelming, as you know, being the only person doing everything. But we're very fortunate to have. I'm in the middle of this wheel, of this wagon wheel, and I have somebody doing something everywhere. And Greta Ellis does our social media. But on the PKD Foundation San Antonio chapter, you will see everything that's going to be happening in our area. Okay,
and then of course there's a DONATE button on there too, right?
Yeah, actually, when you go, there is on the donate. That is correct, on the San Antonio chapter page on Facebook. Yes, same for the main walkforpkd.org for the PKD Foundation, and then also again we have donate everywhere.
Yep, and that's the shameless plug here. you know, you have to have some type of insight into this in the background. But the most important thing is, if you got a couple bucks, hit that
Yes.
donate button.
Yeah, yes, and
every buck helps. I mean, you're not gonna.
every dollar helps. And Kent, I have to
Yes.
tell you that my drive has gotten stronger this year. My brother, who received a transplant 17 years ago from our cousin, we called them the Piston Cousins. He has had, over the last 18 months, a lot of tough days, and he's not well at this time. He's actually currently in occupational therapy down to a weight of 115 pounds. So, you know, my heart goes out to what he's going through, but he's still with us, which is a blessing.
Sure.
But then our 53-year-old sister, who was only 5 at the time my father was disabled. So she never knew our father the way we knew our father. He was disabled. And so she now is in the need of a kidney. She's ready for home hemodialysis with a fistula. She's a French teacher for high school students. And she's on the national list for transplant because her antibodies are high. She does have a friend, a lifetime friend that's a donor for her for a swap when that can take place. But as you well know, every day is an unknown for her right now. And her 2 children, 18 and 21, both have polycystic kidney disease.
Yeah.
So
This is tragic, but that's where the hope comes in.
exactly.
You know, you cannot dwell on the tragedy of it. You can't dwell on the loss. You have to dwell on the hope.
Exactly.
And that's what you do. That's what I really, what gives me a lot of good feelings about you is you're hope based. You're not tragic based.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I got my Medicare card last year at age 65, I'm like, this is for you, Dad and Karen.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm 66 now.
Yeah, I think about how amazing it is just to be alive. Not just because I can, because it's not of my making. It's, you know, the Lord tapped me to do this. So everything that I've been able to do is a privilege because of my brother.
Yes.
He has been the one who set all of this up for me through Christ. So
Amen.
in the PKD world, in the FSGS world, in the IgA world, any kidney disease world that we're in that space, the hope is that everybody will keep on plugging. All right.
That's true.
They will not give up, because when they give up, we don't find the cure. When we quit looking, we don't find the cure. All right. That's what we're after. But in the meantime, we got the support of each other.
Yes. And everybody says, why do you volunteer? And I said, number one, because I can. And it's the best paycheck ever, because you see the lives that you've touched, like seeing these 2 children together last year and their families fearing the unknown and coming together. That to me is the best paycheck ever. So.
Yep. Well, it's about time for me to ask you the proverbial question. Is there anything that you have left out? I can't imagine what it would be, but if there is anything on your notes, would you tell me?
I think we got it covered. I would ask the good Lord for me to get the words from the Lord, and there they come. So
you did a marvelous job, which I expected, and it's a delight to have you. And I think what we'll do have you on later on. You can talk about the results of this. That will be really, really nice to know.
Sounds great.
So
I have to say the San Antonio Walk, again, has done extremely well. And the foundation has always pointed out that Texas is very, very, very generous.
Oh, yeah.
The San Antonio community, we have already raised over $30,000 of our $70,000 goal. And I know that we will reach our goal because of the continued support and love in the community, not only from the sponsorships, but from the dedicated volunteers and their families. And like you said, anybody that's had a journey with PKD or kidney disease
Yeah, you're donating to PKD, but in the true value of everything, every valued dollar that goes into research goes into covering kidney disease. At some point in time, it's all going to filter down, and there's more of that coming our way, and we need to keep working to make more research dollars available. So
yes, Kent, and not only that, but we need your continued efforts with Kidney Solutions and everything you do, and Texas Kidney Foundation, National Kidney Foundation, like you said, the groups that you and Suzanne are involved in, and also Ultimate Gift of Life and Transplant Organ Sharing Alliance. We're not doing this alone. We're journeying together.
And it's not a competitive effort.
Nope.
This is not a competitive effort. I want to stress that. This is a love effort to provide hope. And everybody works together, and it makes a difference.
Yes.
So thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
I wanted to tell all my listeners that I know you remember Karen Mazzacaro. She has a son 23-year-old son who's currently undergoing transplant as we speak right now.
Oh, yeah.
I understand his mother is out of surgery, and that she's doing well, and that he's due out in about another hour and a half.
Great.
I know this is not timely on a podcast, but reach out to Karen and say, because she's been a great grandmother to this little guy, and I appreciate it. So anyway, you keep working, keep healthy, and remember, there's always hope. So until next time, keep breathing.